Welcome to the Gardener's Workshop live shopping show. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler. Folks, I am so glad that you're here today. We have got an amazing amount of flowers to share with you. We are celebrating dads. You have 2 weeks, so today is just a great day to pick up your Father's Day gifts. And I'm gonna be going through Grandpa Ziegler's toolbox that Bobo has designed in, see here? And we're gonna go through that flower by flower. I'm just gonna highlight everything that's in there. We have great gifts for gardening dads, including the deal of the day, which is mine and Suzanne's, one of our just favorite tools here on the farm. Be sharing some vegetable, warm season veggie tips, as well as we're gonna look at what's blooming on the farm, and it's really kind of crazy, y'all. And what we're planting now, and remember, I'm always giving something away every show, friends, and that's gonna happen today also. And remember, at the very end of the show, I'll do a Q&A with a couple of questions that you submit during the live show. And if you wanna do that, you just put the @ and Lisa and put whatever your question is in the comments, and the girls will pick that up and group them together, and then they'll pick a couple for us to actually answer at the end. So friends, before we get started, please hit that button down in the bottom right-hand side of your app where it says share. That just lets other people know that we're live. Invite your friends. We are just continue. Now, is this year 2? Yeah, at the app, yeah. I mean, we are still just overwhelmed with how we have a lot of new people every week, and we know that's because you guys are sharing it, and we appreciate that so much. And friends, I don't know if you've heard or not, but once a year, we open my farm to the public and our warehouse. And that's happening June 29th. That's a Saturday. It's rain or shine. It's here in Newport News, Virginia. We're gonna have an ongoing farm tours here on the farm, and the warehouse, which is 4 miles away, is open for shopping and tours there. It is one of the most eventful, fun days that we have of the year. It is totally fun. And remember, Dave Dowling, 2 of our instructors, Dave Dowling and Ellen Frost, will also be here. We have a special student meet and greet in the morning before the farm is open to the public. And if you are a student, you'll get an email. If you're my student, Dave's, or Ellen's student, you'll get an email soon being able to sign up, because that is a limited. And if you aren't already on our email list, friends, you need to get on that to stay in the know about this kind of stuff, right? And we send out a lot of great content. We'd love for you to be a part of that. And before we get started, if you are already have an account set up here in the app, or if you place an order today, please double check your email and your phone number for typos. We have it happen frequently, and then when we need to reach out about a shipping question or something, we can't get a hold of you. So please check that out. And remember, here inside the app, all seed-only orders ship for free. And we have a cap on standard shipping, what that means on products. So if you buy any of the stuff that we have today, doesn't matter how many stuffs you buy, it's only $9.95 for shipping. And we do ship to the entire 50 United States of America. And friends, if you're joining us on Facebook or Instagram, we are so happy that you're here. But we just want you to know that there's an app that you can download. It is free. And the features in the app just make your whole experience so much more fun. First off, you get to yammer with the rest of the live viewers. Y'all can comment back and forth, and people carry on conversations, as well as you can create wish lists or favorites list, I guess, as well as sorry y'all, I had a moment. And you can actually watch replays from previous shows, which is really useful if you want to see what was blooming on my farm certain months of the year, because we show the harvest every week, right? So that's a great way to do that. And so we hope you'll get the app and join us. And again, it's free. Just find it in your phone's app store, search Gardener's Workshop, and download. It doesn't take but a nanosecond. All right, so if you go to purchase a product during this live show and it says out of stock, we encourage you to get on the wait list, because oftentimes the team is working behind the scenes to bring more stock over. And that just means you'll get a little notification saying, hey, it's back in stock, especially on things like the deal of the day. We always, because we have to bring them over from our big website. And friends, if you're seeing folks post the emoji, the sunflower emoji, those are people identifying themselves as our students. And we love it when y'all do that, and just kind of makes us a little proud. So I want to tell you what the deal of the day, or I'm sorry, what the giveaway of the day is. And we have found that you guys love the $25 store credit. For one lucky viewer that's here live, you have to sign up. Hit that button that Susie has brought up, and you're not buying anything. That's just going to put you on the list that we'll pull from at the end of the show. And you do have to be here to actually be able to claim your prize. So one lucky viewer is going to get a $25 gift. So friends, today is a really special day. We're thinking about and celebrating dads, and we're pretty thick with dads around here, as I know everybody is thick with their dads, right? So this beautiful arrangement was made by Bobo, and this is really special because this little toolbox actually belonged to Steve's Grandpa Ziegler, and that who lived here, where Steve and I live now, where my farm is. This was their home. And so Bobo actually made this first for the book, the Cut Flower Handbook. And if you have the book, you can look on page 12, a picture of a very similar, maybe different flowers. Very similar is right in there in the book. And all the flowers, with the exception, I see she's plugged in a little hydrangea, as well as some Solomon seal, and maybe even maybe something else. There's a couple little landscape things in here, but all of these are in How to Grow Them, are all in this book. So first off, the mechanics of this arrangement is simply mason jars, and it's those wide mouth, like the peanut butter jar. It's the wide mouth one, and it's the short ones. And they just fit right down in here, and she has just literally stuffed the mason jars, right? So I'm gonna just go through and highlight. I'm just looking to see what you guys, sister, I think we need to pick up the camera and come closer. No, I mean, can't really see, or should I just call them out? So this is Solomon seal. So we're gonna try to pick the camera up, y'all. And so this is Solomon seal, which is actually a shade perennial. Okay. This is Solomon seal. This is sweet pea vine. This is Chantilly snapdragons. This is amobium, right? This is a cress, the dragon, I think it is, which is will be in our lineup. This is Nigella pods. There's giant poppy pods. This is status here. This is feverfew, that's sunny ball. Look at that buttercream scabiosus. More snaps. Look at this, there's that heirloom carnation. Look at old Billy Balls up here, y'all. That's golden drumstick. We have lots of varieties of snaps, more Billy Balls. And she also, I see these are plugged in the back, so I'm gonna pull this out and plug it in the front. This is explosion grass, which this is actually a warm season grass. That really fills in the hole. That is really beautiful. We have blue bachelor buttons up here. Look at these Rudbeckias, y'all. It's one of my favorites. That's Goldilocks. She's one of the earliest, and I love her size. She's not huge. It's just a really useful. These are more, that's the bronze Madam Butterfly snap. She has lambada down in here. There's sweet peas, more Nigella. That's a Chantilly snap. Here, look at this. This is the blue pincushion flower. That's so pretty. We have snaps coming up. And here is another one of my favorite Rudbeckias. This is Maya, M-A-Y-A. And we have snaps. And look, here's some sunflowers tucked down in here. We have more status. Here's some Sweet William. Billy Balls. More snaps, another little sunflower, lots of status, Sweet William, poppy pods, and here's another buttercream scabiosus. And friends, this is all grown outdoors in my garden, and everything you need to know how to do this is in, or to grow these flowers, is actually in the Cut Flower Handbook. And you know, people are so surprised when we had our hands-on workshop here a couple weeks ago, when the guests walked in and saw all the flowers. They're like, you already have all these flowers now? I mean, that's what is so amazing. So this book will take you through how to start a cut flower garden, how to do everything, and then it features over 66 flowers. And I'll sign a book for you. So I would love for you to get this powerful reference book. And in addition, when you buy the book from us, we also give you a PDF download of the flowers that didn't make the book. So totally would love to do that. And remember, this arrangement, not exactly, but similar, is on page 12 of that. So would love for you to have that. Now, I mean, this is vacationing time, right, y'all? You got to have great books to read when you go. How about Vegetables Love Flowers? Now, this is not about growing vegetables. It's about growing flowers and why it benefits vegetables to have them as companions in the actual garden. What I love about this book is that really the last section of the book talks about how I farm and garden, meaning with no pesticides, kind of what I do, and highlighting some of those good bugs and introducing you to them, because it changed everything for me, y'all, 20 years ago, when I learned that most bugs actually have a really important job in our garden. So Vegetables Love Flowers, and this book actually also comes with a video book series. So when you'll get the link to that also. And so I would love to sign a copy of that for you. And friends, did you know that this is the 10th year anniversary of Cool Flowers this year? Can you believe it? So this little book is the really doable on how to grow cool season hardy annuals. It's an easy read to just learn about the concept, and it also comes with a video book study series. It's kind of like the behind the scenes and what I was talking about, and would love to sign a cool flower. Everybody should have a cool flower book. Home gardeners, flower farmers, this is the flowers that bloom in spring, the most anticipated season of the year. So, sister, you're gonna have to come help me with this, because the deal of the day, you tell them about it. This is she loves this tool as much as I do.
So this is our Hori Hori, and it is a digging tool. I call it the rock harvester, and you can see someone stole the sample to use out in the garden. It comes with this wonderful holster where you can attach it to your belt. The tool has a serrated edge. It is for getting down in the soil, for digging up rocks, for splitting some perennials or plants that you want to split. But this is made to go down in the soil, and it shows men cannot walk by our table and not stop to pick this up to see what's in the sheath. So men love this tool. The digging knife is on special for $37.56. It's regularly $46.95, so you save $9.29. It's in-app only while supplies last through Sunday at 8 a.m. So be sure to get your Hori Hori for yourself or for a man in your life. They will love it. Next up, we have another one of our favorite tools. These are the Japanese hand hoes, and they come in a left and a right-handed. They're very sharp, and the way we use these is you want it to be level with the ground. We sink it in about 1.5 inches under the soil, and you pull through like this and cut down all the weeds, the small weeds. And if you do that weekly for a few weeks, you'll realize that you run out of weeds, and that's because you've gotten rid of all the seeds that are in that top inch of soil. If you do this in backup soil, you're exposing more seeds from weeds, and they're getting sunlight and they'll germinate. Big weeds, we do this way. So a lefty or a righty, everyone that has a yard needs to have one of these. And these are $24.95, and you have to tell whether you want a right-handed or a left-handed, or you can get one for each hand. One of our favorites. Next up, we have the sod knife. The sod and harvest knife comes in 2 different sizes. Susie has the bigger one up now, I believe, and this is serrated. It's like those Ginsu knives they used to always sell on TV. It's very sharp. Again, this is great for cutting through roots of perennials. I use it when I'm trying to dig up something and there's roots stuck and cut the roots. Lisa gets twine off of the tiller and off of the tractor with this. It's just perfect. It's also great for harvesting greens. So if you're growing any kind of leafy anything, it is great for harvesting greens. This is the 4.5 inch. It's $9.95. What a deal. We also have the smaller, which is the 2.5 inch, and it is also $9.95. You cannot get a better tool for 10 bucks anywhere. Very great. We love these. Have one for yourself and for a friend. Huh? Yes, for Father's Day. Be sure to get one for your father and yourself. All right, next we have our hand weeder. This we actually call the Bobo hand weeder. And this we use less for weeding and more for planting plants through the Bio 360 that we love and use on our farm. This pokes a perfect hole in the top of that to be able to plant your little seedling without exposing a lot of soil that will have weed seeds and germinate in it. So this we use for that. You can also use it for what it's made for, and that is to do dandelions. And this again, $7.95, and this is a heavy duty steel with wooden handle, great tool for your dad. All right, next up is our shearing pouch. I always keep mine on my hip. This is my shearing pouch. These are bonsai shears. The spring here makes it really easy to use. It's very easy on your hands. The pouch has a clip so it can clip to your pocket. You don't have to wear a hot belt to be able to have this on your hip, and it makes it more comfortable position as well. The shearing pouch, which you will be receiving a new one, the shearing pouch is $55.95, and you can buy them separately in the app if you just wanted one or the other, but I use these in my yard. We use them on the farm. They're just the perfect gift for anyone. Next up we have our Big Dipper. We're going to call this the Big Daddy Dibber. So this dibber has marks on it with the inches, so you can use it to plant small bulbs. We also use this to plant through the Bio 360 to put our little seedlings out. And it's nice wood, makes a great gift, $14.95 for the Big Daddy. And then we have little one. The little guy, upside down, is $7.95, and it just makes a smaller hole for the smaller seedlings so you don't expose more weed seeds to have weeds down the road. All right, next up is our weather stick. The weather stick, this is the best dad or best gift ever. This is made of balsam wood. It's the same wood that they make divining rods out of, and when it is fair outside, mine curves like this. When it's foul outside, I've seen mine touch the post it's attached to, it a curve. And when you give it, they're sure it's not going to work, and they put it up, and then they want one for all of their friends because it's so amazing. So the weather stick is only $10.95. Get several. You want to be sure that you get one of these for your dad and for yourself. They're just so much fun. We use ours all the time on our porch. Next up is the tick key. This will help you remove a tick from any squirming animal, child, or husband. And you simply just slide this over his little head, you pull, and it just pulls out the entire tick, including the head. The instructions are on the back. School nurses use these, and it's got a little hole. You can put it on your keychain. Tick key, $9.95. Everyone should have one. I have one in every drawer in my house, and we use it way too often.
And it
Used
fits
mine
on.
just this week.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said it fits on your key ring.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
perfect gift. And here is Lisa.
And you know the other thing that we use that Hori Hori for, that's the deal of the day, y'all, it plants the 2-inch block perfectly. That's what I plant our big tunnel with, because we do 2 inchers out there. Totally love that deal. So now we are I want to first show babies. So we're going to be potting up, bumping up some seedlings, and so these are some pepper seedlings. I like to start peppers, tomatoes, eggplant seeds in this small block. Makes the most use out of my heat mat, my grow lights, but more importantly, I have excellent germination. I mean, look at the germination on these guys. And technically, they could grow bigger in this block, and I could plant them outside. But I have learned I prefer to grow them even a little bit bigger before they go to the garden to give them the best head start, right? And to do that, I need to pot them up. Oh, I guess I am going to need to. I'm going to pot them up to the 2-inch block. And I'm going to make these in just a minute, but I made these before the show because I started doing this job. So, sister, what's the best way to do this? Should we
think they could actually see better if you do it this way.
So Suzanne's
Tell me
gonna
where
hold
to
it
hold
for
it.
me. And I have this little tray, and this is one of the things that I love about soil blocking. Chili, will you hold the white tray? There you go. I'm just gonna lift up, even though I don't need all of them, I just pick up the entire cluster of 20, and then literally I am just breaking off. And this, by the way, is the perfect size for potting up. See, it's not got an enormous root, but see that great little root? And I am just gonna drop it down into that hole, snug it down, and y'all, that is potting up, literally. And see, I can't see, sister. And I'm just dropping it down in that hole. Takes you moments to do this job. And we actually timed me making these 16 2-inch soil blocks. Took me 2 minutes to make this tray of 2-inch blocks. Not bad for making 16 containers that will grow on this amazing little transplant that will not be root bound and will just hit the ground running. So I potted those up, and now I'm gonna make the blocks. But before I do that, the other time that I use the 2-inch block is when I'm growing bigger seeded stuff, like think zucchini, squash, sunflowers, sweet peas, and that's what this is squash. And I'm just gonna break this apart, literally, let you guys see. Oh my gosh, y'all, these roots are so beautiful. I wish you could feel and hear the roots pulling apart. Look at the roots on this. I will tell you that if this had been in a container, let's see, when were these started? May 13th. So what does that make them, like 2.5 weeks old? They're ready to go to the garden. If this had been in a container for 2.5 weeks, they'd be totally wound around. So I'm gonna show you after I make the blocks how I actually do that. So I'll make and put it on there. All right, so now I'm gonna make the block. Suzanne's gonna fix the camera so you guys can see me. So you know that I use the small blocker the majority of the time. But when that seed is bigger, I use the big block, and I can't see, so you tell me when to start. Okay, blocking mix, it's moist. This is the 2-inch blocker. And this is a little bit different technique because the 2-inch blocker uses so much more soil, which is why I only use it when I absolutely have to. This is a potato masher. Striking the bottom flat. And so I'm gonna put them, I'll use those flat bottom trays. And there you go, that quick.
Can you show the inserts?
Yes, so this blocker, the blocker comes with white nipples, but you can purchase these inserts separately, which we'll see those in just a moment, to make this perfect hole. And I leave the inserts on mine all the time, and that way I don't have to switch it back and forth, and I am just dropping a squash seed, thank you, in each hole. And then these seeds like to be covered. And this is literally how I do it, y'all. It's like those of us that like to play in the soil, I'm just using a little plant ID marker to just take a little dab of soil and literally covering that seed. That way, I don't have to take the inserts in and out. So what I'm saying is once the inserts go into my 2-inch blocker, they just stay there. Because again, it's not so often that I do plant for zucchini and stuff, I just don't do very many of those. So it's just really not a problem. And there you go. That is the 2-inch block planted with the large seeds. And then these follow the same old, to go to heat, and then they go to a grow light. All right, so now let's take a look at how you can get started with soil blocking. And so, crash. All right, so that's very crooked, sister. So the number one way that we sell soil blockers is in the Soil Block Maker kit. And that's just the way most people get started. So I'm going to show that to you first. And that kit comes with the small blocker, which is the one that I use most often. All of our tiny seeds, almost all of our flowers herbs, vegetables, all of them. Makes 20 of the 3/4 inch. So the kit includes that. It also includes 5 of those trays you just saw me using, but it will hold 3 sets of 20. This is like 6 by 11, y'all. Super space savvy. It also includes the aluminum seed pan, a toothpick holder with toothpicks, which is what we use to sow the seeds, as well as some of those little plant ID sticks. It also comes with 3 free packs of seeds, and you select at checkout either 3 cool season or 3 warm season, and both of these are based on customer favorites, right? And it also includes my Seed Starting Made Easy online course. Y'all, this tells you everything. How to start seeds in soil blocks from beginning till you get them to the garden, how to direct sow out in the garden, how to plant plug trays with sunflowers, and the new commercial soil blocker also is demonstrated in there. So this kit includes this, and it includes the ready-made mix. Now this bag of soil, which doesn't look very big, makes about 500 of those small blocks. Super efficient. So you get the soil, all of the trays, lay it on top of the tray. There you go. The small blocker, the 3 packs of seeds, the soil block making course, and the ready-made mix for $89.95. Y'all, it's a darn bargain. $9.95 shipping, and you're set up to make soil blocks, right? Now, if you don't need the kit, you can buy everything individually. So you can get the small soil blocker, which is that 3/4 inch cluster of 20, is $39.95. And we always send written instructions if you feel like you don't need a course. But you can also purchase separately the large blocker that you just saw me demonstrate. And there's that nipple that it comes with, and that makes an indentation in the top of the large blocker to receive a seed, which works really well. But if you want to make that perfect hole to pot up into, this is the insert, which is $9.95. Now, I will say in the app here, you can buy the set of all 3 of those items together if you'd like, and there's a little bit of savings there. So a little bit about the soil. It is special blocking mix, which we sell at Ready Made, but you can make it at home. And so we have put together the soil set. And what this includes is the nutrient that goes with your peat moss or cocoa fiber and compost that you sift at home. This recipe, this DIY nutrient makes 6 recipes, and a recipe makes about the equivalent of one of those ready-made bags. So that is like 6 of those bags when added to your compost or cocoa fiber and peat moss. And the recipe's right on the bag. It also includes the fungus gnat fighting kit. We all know that seed starting or any moist soil indoors grows really great fungus gnats. These are the bits that I put in my watering can every Wednesday, and then the sticky traps that I actually just have on the shelves in my grow room that attract the adults that are flying around and that are actually laying eggs in your moist soil. So you get that fungus gnat set. You also get one of those aluminum seed pans, which do not have any static electricity in them, y'all. That's why it makes sowing small seeds so easy. And we have our toothpick dispenser and toothpicks. But friends, the queen of this set is right here. This is the sifter. And this sifter fits perfectly on top of a 5-gallon bucket. And we recommend sifting all ready-made mixes, I don't care where it comes from, as well as if you're doing your peat moss and compost at home and cocoa fiber, you should sift it first. It just makes for a better experience seed starting. All right, so you can also purchase separately, if you want it, the ready-made mix. I will say that over on our big website, there is a bigger bag of this if you need that. This is $15.95. It makes about 500 of those blocks. And again, we just recommend sifting everything. Think about tiny seeds. They don't need to be encountering chunks of stuff, right? So that's the ready-made mix. You can also purchase that DIY nutrient, which was in that soil set separately. Again, this makes 6 recipes, and a recipe is equivalent to that ready-made bag. You add your peat moss or cocoa fiber, and compost. And the ingredients are right here on the front, or the recipe, and it's always on our website ready and available for you. And that's $15.95. Now, we are big advocates of using flat bottom trays with no drainage holes. And friends, that's because I have no greenhouse. I do all my seed starting in a building, just like a garage. I did it in my home for the first 5 years of being a flower farmer, in a spare bedroom and a pantry and in a basement, right? And having no drainage holes was key. Flat bottom means no water stands and causes problems. This is the mini size tray, which holds a cluster of 20 of those small 3/4 inch blocks. These are $1.95, or you can get 25 of them for $6.95. This is what we call the small tray. It holds either 2 clusters of the 2 inch for 8 large blocks, or 2 sets of 20, which is 40 small blocks for the small blocker. And this is $2.95 and $12.95. This is the one that comes in the kit. It'll hold 3 sets of 20, or you can put 2 sets of the 2 inch block on here. And this is a 5-pack for $3.95, or a 25-pack for $15.95. These are foam, friends, but they are not disposable. We use these for years, over and over again. So this is a really great choice. Now, if anybody has ever followed along with me on social media, I'm often talking about our garden marker that we use to mark all of our seed starting trays. This is made to withstand UV rays and moisture. And here's a great example of that. This is one of my IDs from out in the garden that was outside. We found it this last year. It was from sweet peas planted last September, a year ago. So a year and a half, and you can still clearly read Royal Mix. That's why we love this pen. So get a pen. They're $6.95. Get several. We have them all over this farm. We just absolutely love them because your words never disappear. Even at this time of the year, I get this question often, do I still use a seedling heat mat when it's hot outside? Yes, we do. Even greenhouse growers use heat tables in greenhouses, y'all. This is a seedling heat mat. It has a built-in thermostat, which means it adjusts the temperature of the mat to the air temperature, 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the air temperature. This is how I get my sunflowers to sprout so quickly and so strongly with the root system, as well as all of our other seedlings. This is one hop in the system, y'all. They go on here after we sow them until 50% of the seeds show signs of life. Then I take them off the heat and move them to a grow light. If you need grow lights, our big website has 2 of our favorites with built-in timers. We absolutely love them. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about vegetables for the summer, right? So can I see the planter just so I can use it as an example? So y'all, I want to just tell you about an item that we've carried for a long time. And I want to all I'm telling you is all based on information that I learned from this little slide vegetable planter, right? So most warm season vegetables, just like flowers, can be succession planted. And how do I know that those peppers that you saw me pot up today, that it's not too late, which is what everybody automatically thinks, oh my gosh, it's too late for that. Friends, when I look at this planter, and you'll have a chance to purchase this in a minute, it's only like $6. You move this red line to when your last frost date is, and then it comes right up. Let's see, I want this side, wait a minute, my last frost date. So this tells me that for peppers, the last planting out in my garden should be August 2nd. So I still have plenty of time. And I would have never known that if I had not had this sliding rule. So it's, you're only as good as the information you have. Planting on time helps to avoid pests and all kinds of issues. And sometimes you can push the envelope, and go a little longer. So do some experimenting. And we are harvesting warm season tender annual vegetables right up till frost. We're talking tomatoes and squash and beans. The beans are the best in the fall, right? And what you just need to really pay attention to is on your seed packet, it'll say days to mature. It'll say like 90 days. Well, 90 days is 3 months, right? So you need to get that in the ground 3 months plus about a month to harvest, right? Before your first frost date. But this planner will answer a lot of those questions for you as a guide. And so let's just look at some of our favorite warm season. These are cool. Okay, sorry y'all. Thought I had the wrong pile. So what are we still planting and going at it? Y'all, cucumbers. We love the Market More cucumber. And it's super disease resistant, grows in abundance, and then whoever had enough zucchinis, nobody that's ever learned. Have you ever heard of zucchini crab cakes, y'all? That's a crab cake without any crab in it. You use zucchini and it tastes about the same. So zucchini, we continue starting zucchini seeds up until mid-September, I think. Oh, and these are Stevie's favorite jalapenos. That's what you just saw me potting up. These are the Jedi jalapenos, and these are really productive, and we love having that last harvest so we can pickle some. So that is the jalapeno pepper, jalapeno poppers, y'all. Oh my goodness. And this is the sweet Italian pepper, Carmen. And this is a really long one. They get about 5 or 6 inches long. These are great for grilling. And friends, I mean, it's like if your last frost date is mid-November like me, you can hop to it and get this stuff in the ground. And then of course there's the classic bell pepper. And this is Olympus. And if you leave her on longer, she'll turn red. And then of course, folks love fresh basil from the garden. Nobody should be buying basil at the grocery store, y'all. You can grow it easily in a container or in your garden. We love it. So this is one of my favorite tomatoes. This is a paste tomato, San Marziano. And these are great for grilling, great for paste, great for salsa. Really, really love them. And the last date to get them in the ground is just like the peppers for me. So this is Cherokee Purple. This is the most delicious pepper tomato I have ever eaten, the most flavorful. Great for tomatoes. It's kind of bruised looking. The first time you grow it, you think something's wrong with it. Friends, that's how they're supposed to look, and they're scrumptious. This is my go-to tomato. This is Big Beef. Most disease resistant, great for canning, great for tomato sandwiches. Really love that one. And then this is everybody's favorite on the farm. This is Sun Gold. If you have kids, you're trying to get them to eat tomatoes and to learn to love them, these are like little sugar pops. I mean, you can eat them right off the plant and they're so sweet. So Sun Gold is a really fun one, especially to introduce to kids. And then friends, you don't eat this one. This is the spinning gourd. It's an ornamental. This is one of my favorite fall ornamentals to grow. And this is a vine, so you have to grow it on a trellis. Super quick, and it's not too late for that one either. And then we also have the ornamental pumpkin on a stick, which is actually an eggplant, but we don't eat these. This is an ornamental. We love having these for fall, y'all. We use them green and we use them ripe, and it's time to get started with those, right? So you'll have them for the fall market, as well as hyacinth bean. That's another vine. They are edible, but we love them. I mean, imagine having that in fall. They're super beautiful. And then some of those peppers you saw me transplant today are actually our rooster peppers, which is an incredible cash crop cow, y'all, for fall. We love these. They're hot chili peppers, so you can eat them, but they are hybridized as cut flowers. They dry beautifully, and this is what you can expect from those. And just a reminder to everybody, hit the button if you want to be entered into the $25 giveaway. We love giving that away to one lucky winner. All right, friends, it's time to look at flowers. And I always kick off our flower harvest by talking about storing seed packets properly. You should purchase seeds when you meet the flower, and then you file the seed and the appropriate season that you're supposed to start it, so you never miss out on a seed. I can't tell you how that will revolutionize your life. And storing them properly means keeping them cool and dry. And these are desiccant packs, which help you do that. You can get a 2-pack for $2.95 or a 10-pack for $9.95. And this is one of those things you just want to have in your toolbox. And y'all, this is a cool, most of these are cool flowers too, I'll just say that. This is, I transplant this in the fall and then again in very early spring. This is safflower. Carthamus is what it's called. It's Zanzibar. And while it has a very interesting bloom, I love using it before it even opens. It's an incredibly beautiful foliage filler to use. And that is just that has become a front seat runner in our spring lineup. Of course, our giant poppy pods, which we prefer, and when we were selling these as cut flowers, we want them when they're fresh and green like this. That one's a little small, but the longer they sit out in the garden, the more blemishes they get. Y'all can see the difference between that green and these. We did them all fresh. They're an in-demand crop, and those were direct sown in the garden in fall. And who doesn't love these, y'all? Billy Balls, better known as, and then it's also Cresspedia is the botanical name. This is the golden drumstick variety, and they dry just like this. This is an amazing flower. Totally love it. We fall and very early spring plant it, and we do the same with this. This is a Mobium. This is an amazing bouquet filler to build to go with it, to build your bouquets on. It dry. You hear that? It's a cross, in my mind, of a straw flower and feverfew. Love it. We plant it fall and very early spring. Now, y'all, I don't have very many of these, and it's not even really, actually, I did show you one open. You know, these little carnations, these are heirloom carnations. And what's special about them is they're spicy smelling. And so they're a really nice scent to have in the early spring. And when you fall plant them, you get incredible height. Suzanne's pulling one for us. See, it's just not a real hit home run flower, but in an arrangement, it's an incredible, and they come in a mix with all these great jewel colors. Fall planted out in the garden, and you get incredible height. Now, we have a new flower for me. This is something I've been experimenting with, and I'm sharing the first result, which isn't so hot, but it's getting better. Does anybody grow Tweedia? Tweedia is actually a cool flower, y'all. And why this is not a great example is because they just aren't very tall yet. But I have some out in the field that are about this tall that are budding up. We fall and very early spring planted it. I'm still experimenting, but we're telling y'all about it. And you can get on the wait list, and when the seed becomes available, you'll be the first to know. I mean, who doesn't need more blue flowers, right? And that was transplanted. And then we have Godicia. And this is just starting for us. And you can see there's multiple buds and there's a flower. The white, you just never have enough white flowers in spring. And then look at this color. This is what they call lavender. This is the Grace series. All three of them are Grace. But this is the lavender color, which is really useful. And here the salmon is just starting up. Look how pretty. I mean, I think actually this is what's in the book picture of this arrangement behind me. Now we have stock. Somebody hand me a tissue or something. So this one is stock. High double. We're getting there, y'all. Stand by.
Yeah. But we're gonna do it.
It's high double white.
High double white. So y'all, they're gonna have to go find it, right?
Nope, it's pulled up.
Oh, it's not on my list. I see. Okay. I don't see your list. Anyway, this is high double stock. White is an in-demand color. And y'all know I grow everything in the field. We can get good stock planted in very early spring. When this is transplanted. And then look, is this blue? Cat's blue. And this is just a hot color, y'all. It makes everything else pop. Really, really beautiful. And then also this apricot, which is a really or some people call it blush. Depends on what market you're in, y'all. That is so pretty. And then we have, is this cheerful? This is cheerful yellow, but it really looks like ivory, y'all. And this is the tallest variety that I grow. And then we have the ones that's still on the wait list. This is Ruby. Look at that color, y'all. Is that not just spectacular? And she's a tall, what is this, Cats? So this is Ruby. All right, the Rudbeckias are getting started. My most favorite Rudbeckia, as I mentioned up there, is this Goldilocks. Not only does she bloom first, but she's a great size. These are just great to use in bouquets, and our commercial customers loved them. These were all fall planted transplants, and they are super winter hardy, and there's Maya. Look at the layers of petals that are coming on here, y'all. I love cutting it really early like this. Super contribution to bouquets. Rudbeckias are big for native bees. Now this is early for this. This is Triloba, which is a spray Rudbeckia. Normally it doesn't really start blooming for another month, but I found these trying to get started out there. These are spectacular bouquet builders, just like a Mobium is. Totally love that. And y'all, we have the best straw flowers. So which color is this? Is purple red. Look how pretty that is. And what I want you to think of is that these dry, and all these dry and hold their color. Think about having that in the fall.
Creamy vintage.
This is creamy. This is creamy white. Really love that. I mean, again, white flowers are always in demand. And then this is white, a vintage white. It's just a clear white from what I can tell. Really love it. And white flowers, I mean, white goes with everything, you know? And then look at this. This is bright rose. Look how pretty they are. And y'all, when you dry them, they look just like this. That's why, and then y'all, here's my favorite, orange. Imagine having this in the fall. How amazing is that? We do transplant straw flowers in very early spring, which for me is mid-February, and we succession plant every 4 weeks, and Bobo's starting more on Monday. So we're still going at it. It's just too valuable as a bouquet crop, as well as our commercial customers would have bought it every week, but we always used it all up in our bouquets. And look at this. This is golden yellow. How beautiful. They're just scrumptious. And this is copper red. Again, imagine this in the fall. Copper red is amazing. And then if you haven't met straw flowers before, maybe you'll want to start with this peach mix. Look at that, y'all. How beautiful is that? And now here is just the mix of all the colors except for that peach. That's not in this mix. But this is a great way to get acquainted, you know, if you don't want to grow all the different colors. And friends, look at this dill. So these, you know, these are cut. These are like as tall as I am out in the garden. And we cut it at many different stages. This pre-seed stage really holds up really, really well. And of course, it smells like dill, so it's a bonus. And here is the Daucus Dara. Look how pretty that is. And these were all fall planted, direct sown. And this is a lesson, y'all. I cut these yesterday. I thought I cut the crop really hard. And you can see some of these are old. See these white ones? They're too far along. I knew when I cut those, I wanted to show you, right? But look, I went out there this morning. These are the proper stage to harvest. And this is what I left yesterday. This is an example of how fast they move. And why you got to cut harder, and you have to really read your own crop. This is a great crop, but almost everybody cuts it too late and then doesn't like it because it sheds. It doesn't shed when you harvest it at the proper stage. So look at this. So all of our Nigella is done blooming. These are the pods. This is green marbles. It has a white bloom. These are all be hung to dry. Or we would sell them fresh. They're lime green. Who doesn't want that, right? And so these are, Susie's bringing up the midnight. Oh, wait, there's one more. Here, I'm sorry, Miss Jekyll, here it is. So this is the Love and a Mist mix. It's Miss Jekyll mix, actually. See how this pod is striped? You get more of a variation. So different varieties have different types of pods. And look at this. So Susie's bringing up Midnight. There's 3 specialty Nigellas. There's Midnight, there's African Bride, and there's Delft Blue. All 3 of them have this pod. Do y'all see it? It looks like a star. incredibly in demand and useful. Are y'all ready for buttercream? Pincushion flower. This is the stage I like to cut it in. This is perfect. I mean, this is Fata Morgan. My gosh. They're this tall in the garden, fall planted. And look at this. I mean, who doesn't need more blue? I mean, we could just sell, 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 sell. Not to mention, hold that one aside. I want the blue one back in a minute. And look at this, red. These are too late to be sold, y'all. They're going to be shedding before long. This is how I like to cut, with just a few petals. How beautiful are these? This is Pincushion Fire King. I want to get those back. And then this is Black Knight. And again, that's too late. You should not be selling that. You want that to happen in their vase. That button is what you're looking for, and that is Black Knight. And then lastly, here is white. This is old. This is the perfect cut. See how it's still green in the center? That's perfect. And I just want to say, before we pop off that, who does not need red, white, and blue flowers for July 4th? This is your baby, girls and guys. This is just, as always, incredible. And y'all ready for this? This is the ping pong pincushion. You hear it? So this gets an insignificant flower like that. It's kind of a muted blue, which Bobo loves as a flower arranger, but that's not what we grow it for. We're growing it for this. This is going in my house in a vase, and it will dry and look just like this. This is so beautiful. Imagine having a wall of them hanging in your fall farmer's market booth for sale. I'm telling you, people, you gotta think outside the box. This is Feverfew White Wonder. This is the most vigorous, easiest to germinate, strongest grower that we grow. It's great for wedding work, bouquet filler. We really love it. But my real favorite is this, Sunny Ball. See that yellow little, it looks a lot like tansy, which is an invasive, but this is a great one, and it holds up fabulously in arrangements. And so here is one that you want to get on the wait list for. This is Green Dragon Cress. Y'all, we are so, and look how tall this mess is, first off. We fall and very early spring, and I think it could be succession planted. Whenever I see a really tall, cool flower, I think, I bet I could plant that later for successions and still get decent height. This is just a fabulous one. All right, friends, sunflowers. Look at this peach. Can't you tell the glow? I mean, I wish we had some orange ones. You just can't believe how peachy these really are. These are the Pro Cut Peach, early birds, love them. And then this is that one I talk about so much that's one of my favorites because it really looks kind of like a Gerber daisy, right? And our florists absolutely love these. Green center, gold petals, really, really love it. And then, you know, I still have a few. This is the White Knight, and see, we're not starting any more of those now until later in the season because of pest damage on these white petals. So this is White Knight, which is just such a great one. And another one that we start a lot of in the spring is, this is Lemon. See how it's pale yellow? I mean, this is just such a great color to be your focal flowers in early or in spring bouquets. And y'all look at this. It's Monarda time. This is a bee balm that most people are not, familiar with. We start it from seed. It's not a perennial like many of the Monardas, but it does reseed itself. But we plant it every fall and again in very early spring, and it is just amazing in arrangements and in your garden because it, of course, is also a favorite of bees, and who doesn't want to do that? All right, friends, so it's time to wrap up today, but remember to stick around because I'm going to do a little Q&A here in just a minute. And sorry, y'all, keep wiping. Something's got me itching here. We have a big website that is loaded with resources for you guys. It's got videos, there's blogs, we have podcasts, and be sure to check out both of our podcasts. We have Field and Garden, with me. And then we have Seed Talk with Lane and Lisa. And Lane is our seed manager, and she really bases the episodes on questions that we're getting. And we have a YouTube channel where you can actually watch her PowerPoint program along with the podcast on each one. So yesterday's episode that just came out was all about flower support netting, which I could talk about that till the cows come home, y'all. I mean, it's just the key to having great, strong, straight, upright flowers to actually be able to cut. So remember that you can catch me this coming Wednesday on my Instagram handle, Gardener's Workshop Farm, at 12:30 Eastern Time. And for 30 minutes, y'all can ask me any question, and I'll do my best to answer it from 12:30 to 1. And I hope to see you there, and I hope that I'll see you back here next Friday. And you know what I think next Friday is? I think next Friday is Tucker's birthday.
Is it?
We're not sure if he's going to be 7 or 8. I have to look at his paperwork. But yeah, he's a June baby. So we may be celebrating a birthday party with Tucker next Friday. And so, friends, I have a winner of our $25 giveaway. And I surely hope you're here because we just absolutely love giving away stuff. And so the winner of our $25 store credit is Ashley Voorhees. Ashley Voorhees. Voorhees, I believe. Ashley, if you're here, give us a big shout out in the comments, and then we will get a $25 credit dropped right into your cart. And congratulations. It'll just take a few minutes for us to do that once we hear from you. And so, friends, stick around for my Q&A that's right after the end of this show. And I just really... Oh, she's here. Congratulations, Ashley. So Kelly's doing it right now. She's finding you and dropping $25 right into your cart. And we just absolutely love doing this. So congratulations, Ashley. I hope you get a gift for yourself or for one of your loved ones. So let's jump right into our Q&A. So that's an interesting, let me see that first question. This is one of my favorite types of things to talk about, but I don't often get it here. So this person asks, I have a mouse problem. They nipped all my cool cold season seedlings. Can you give me some details on how to make a snake habitat? I can't put up a bird of prey pole where I am, so I track the snakes to solve the problem. So you are obviously familiar with my habitat here on my farm. And I want to tell you that one of my first experiences ever growing cool season hardy annuals was in the cellar of my house here. I mean, this was a long time ago. It was my first time trying seed starting and snapdragons. And so it was in my basement, and I got all my snapdragons to germinate. I had a little grow light down there. They germinated, and I was so happy. And then the next morning I came down, and they were all sawed off. A mouse had eaten the top off of each one. But you know what I learned from that lesson? They resprouted, or sprouts came from the base of that plant. But anyway, so I feel your pain. I know how crushing that really is. So for snake habitat, of course, number one thing is do not use pesticides, right? Because they get second kill from that kind of stuff. But we have rock piles here on our farm. And so I have to truck rocks in from our family that live up in the mountains. We have no rocks here. But just making a mound of rocks and let the weeds grow up on it or whatever, that is like where the reptiles and the snakes will really hang out. And then also just good for all creatures on your farm is to leave an unkept area. And the way that I do that living in the middle of the city is I would never keep that unkept area right out where all my neighbors can see it. It's in the middle of my farm, and I keep the edges mowed so I keep it in check, and it looks pretty okay. But then I have these what we call habitat islands that have these rock piles in them. Vegetation is growing, and that's where you'll find the joeys. And you know, joey is the name that we call all of our snakes. All right. My fall planted feverfew are starting to bloom. Hallelujah. How many weeks can I harvest from them? I want to spread it out as long as possible without jeopardizing flower quality. So that's a really great question, and it took me a long time to figure this out. First off, don't overuse feverfew in bouquets. Suzanne and I learned that the really hard way, because feverfew all blooms at one time, all the varieties, when you plant them in the fall. And if you very early spring plant them, all of those plantings will bloom at the same time. So we've done all kinds of crazy things. So if you use too much white in your bouquets, if you stand back and look at all your bouquets, they all look the same. People get really tired of it quick. We resist doing that. We like to put one stick of feverfew in a bouquet, right? But you put aside all the needs that you have. You have got to harvest flowers at the proper stage for harvest. And the book, the Cut Flower Handbook, will reinforce and tells you all those details. You can't, and I was just thinking about this when I was cutting some of that scabiosis for the show today. I was thinking, oh, I wonder if we're going to have any of this for next week. Should I leave that one? I mean, it still crosses my mind 27 years later. You never leave anything in the garden that's at the proper stage. You can't think that way because guess what? You'll have other flowers, or you should have other flowers coming along. So you need to harvest at the proper stage. And the way that we stagger feverfew is, if you, did it say that she fall planted it or very early spring? Did it say? I think she said she fall planted. So that means you could very early spring plant it again. And then we succession plant it again 4 weeks later. And that's how you spread out the bloom. Plant less at each one and make the most of it. All right, do I need to dry out the seeds I'm getting from deadheading my marigolds? Can I sow them right away? I am not an expert at saving seeds because saving seeds is a little dicier than what all of us ever think. First off, all the marigolds that I grow are all hybrids, so they're not going to come back true. And not only do you have to dry them properly, they have to be at the proper mature stage when they actually get harvested. And then you have to store them properly for moisture content, to prevent moisture content so that they actually germinate. We can all save seeds. Whether they actually germinate is another story, and then do they actually come back as what you want is a whole nother. So in our experience, we start with fresh purchased seeds every single time because we want certain characteristics of the blooms, right? How do you stop succession planting the straw? When do you stop succession planting the straw flowers? So Bobo and I did an experiment a couple of years ago because straw flowers were a huge contributor to our bouquet program, right? We would love it for every bouquet to have a beautiful color pop. So we very early spring plant, and then we would go every 4 weeks, and we did it literally. So that would be mid-February to mid-March to mid-April to mid-May, and we did even a mid-June planting. Of course, remembering that my first frost is not until mid-November, and even those late plantings still got tall enough. They might not be as robust as those ones that really got established in cool soil, but they were good enough. So we go through mid-June. One more. Are you still sowing snapdragons at this point in the season? That's a great question to wrap up with. So snapdragons are cool season hardy annual. We can't lose that point. And the whole cool flower concept is about planting cool season hardy annuals into their optimal conditions so that they are super disease and pest resistant. There are snapdragons that purposely bloom later in the season. As days get longer, that's their trigger. Those are the snaps that get the tallest. If you plant them when you're supposed to plant them, either fall or very early spring, they grow longer before they actually bloom. The problem that we have as Southerners here, and I'm in Virginia, the Southerners have is that even though those are strong, great growers, when heat and humidity comes, the plants really fall victim to disease and pests. So I don't try to extend snapdragons. In fact, we only fall plant snapdragons. I've never gotten rust disease, which is really, really common in snaps. Never gotten it on any fall planted snap. If I try to very early spring plant or plant beyond that, we definitely get disease. And it's just not worth it because our fall planted ones are so abundant. I mean, they're still going, right, out in the garden. So pushing the envelope, what I'm learning, and as you get older, y'all, you really do get wiser. Not smarter necessarily. But what I'm learning is I love that this is full of flowers, that a month and a half from now, Bobo could make this again, and it'll be 100% different flowers, but it'll be scrumptious and beautiful. And I think we all crave that seasonality, just like we do with food. So I've learned to stop pushing beyond what is that preferred growing conditions. Does that make sense? It's like once my snaps are done, I'm ready for snaps to be done. My customers are ready for zinnias and coxcomb and celosia plumes and lisianthus and all the stuff that happens in the middle of the summer, right? So I hope that helps you. All right, friends. I hope to see you back here next week, and maybe we'll be having a doggy birthday party. Who knows what you may find. So till we meet again, friends. Ciao.